All right, welcome to Wiki Kitchen. We are going to make a simple phyllo pizza today. This is a great family dish, really quick, and it makes it a little bit, it's a little bit of a lighter pizza crust rather than just reaching for a dough. So first I'm gonna start off with some tomatoes, these gorgeous tomatoes that are in season. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain these a little bit. So you wanna salt them a little bit. This way, since I'm gonna be layering these on the tart, it's not gonna soak through and make the tart too soggy. So we're gonna go ahead and slice those up. Get a bunch of them on the tray. I love using heirloom tomatoes. The sweetness is so nice. I just basically line a tray with paper towels, and I'm gonna go ahead and put those basically in a single layer. These other ends I'm gonna save for another dish. Cut them up, use a salsa or something. All right, let's move that up. All right, so I'm using a little bit of flake salt, just gonna sprinkle those tomatoes, let them sit for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna make all the other components first. Using a phyllo is a great base, really for any seasonal veggies. So we're choosing tomatoes here because it's gonna go great with like a vegan ricotta. So let's make that right now. So I have a shallot. Here. We're gonna put a little bit of garlic in there. So I have a little bit of shallot. I'm not gonna use too much. All right, so just get a little bit, shave it as thin as possible. You know, it's gonna get cooked, so the sharpness of the shallot's okay. So you don't have to really mince it. Just gonna do a little coarse chop here. A little bit of garlic, same thing. So now we're gonna use a vegan ricotta here. We have a little bit of vegan cream cheese here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add quite a bit of, as Derek calls it, hippie fish food here. A little bit of nutritional yeast. We're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of lemon zest. A wee bit of citrus in there. That's a nice freshness to this. I'm gonna also add some lemon juice to it. Also. A little bit of zest, smells so good. And this is the best strainer you have right here. All right, so maybe salt it a little bit of black pepper. And I want this fairly thin because I'm gonna bake this. I don't want it to thicken up too much because you're gonna really thicken it up as it cooks on the phyllo. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that. A little bit of water just to thin it out. Now, if you wanted to add all sorts of other flavors to this, just like in the Wicked Healthy Cookbook, we have that minted pea ricotta. You can add some fresh chopped peas in there, some shaved mint in there. Really, that would be beautiful in this recipe as well. It goes great with tomatoes, right? All right, so we're gonna set that aside. That is gonna be ready to go in just a minute. Let's go ahead and use some phyllo here. So you can pick up phyllo. Oh, shit. Why I cut these up. Go ahead and add that garlic and that shallot in there. So you can use any phyllo. There's a number of different vegan phyllos on the market. You want to make sure that it's vegan. Most of them are not. So I'm gonna roll these out, and you have these beautiful sheets here, super thin sheets. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside, and we're gonna start to assemble these little tarts. So you basically need a brush, some olive oil. You can also use some melted butter, which is good. There's a number of great vegan butters out there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and brush it just a little bit. All right. So for this phyllo, I'm gonna go ahead and slice it. We're gonna make 4 individual ones. So what I like to do is just gonna go ahead and just lightly brush them. Let's fold those over. So I'm basically just folding them over into individual tarts or mini pizzas. All right, so that's the first one. Probably fit 2 of them on here. I like to do a total of almost 8 layers of phyllo. So we have 4 there because I folded it over. I'm gonna do the same thing here. You don't have to be perfect with this because, you know, it all cooks so nicely together, and the more little ruffles you get, the better, which I'll show you in just a moment here. I'm just wiping oil, and I'm gonna layer this on top of the other. So you get 8 layers right there. All right, so for the last one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically just ruffle this one up to be around the edges. Gives you a nice edge crust, a little bit more rustic also. Take it in half. Doesn't have to be perfect at all. Again, keep it rustic, you know, it's really nice just to showcase these. We can serve them with some fresh salad on top. We're gonna do a little bit of arugula since it goes so nice with some of these heirloom tomatoes. So then as it's finished, let's grab a little bit more oil. Just gonna go around the edges, okay? You wanna make sure that the oil is gonna really crisp them up, and, you know, rather than them burning real quick, it's gonna keep them nice and golden. All right, so now you have the borders. Let's clean up real quick. So we have the tart shells. Now, I got that ricotta. I'm gonna go ahead and spread that in the center. And you have that border, which is quite nice. If you're not gonna ruffle up the edges, you can just kind of curl them as well, which works. Just gonna go ahead and all fill in the center there. You can do the same thing with pesto also. You know, if you're using, you can use red sauce, you can use pesto. This ricotta is really nice. You don't want to go too thick. All right. This tomato should be done. He's been sitting for a little while. Let's just go ahead and top. What I like to do is I like to flip them a little bit because all of the water in the tomato sort of pools up. This way, kind of pats them dry a little bit so you don't have too much of a soggy tart. All right, let's alternate some colors here. Okay, so these are ready to go. What I'll do is I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of olive oil, or you can do any kind of flavored oil also. This is actually a little bit of rosemary oil that I have. You know, any kind of oil, but I'm just gonna top it off with a little bit of oil. Okay, a little bit of thyme. Just kind of sprinkle it on there. So any of the hardy herbs like thyme or sage or rosemary, I tend to add during the cooking process. If I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of basil at the end, I would add those at the end to really give you that burst freshness, you know? A little bit of black pepper, a little bit of sea salt, and these are ready to go in. They're sexy little tarts though. They're gonna be so beautiful when they come out. All right, so let's go ahead and put that in the oven. So that will cook for about 30, 35 minutes. Then what we'll do, we'll check it in a little bit. You wanna make sure that the crust is not too black. It's gonna be quite golden when it's done. Then we'll top it off with a little bit of arugula, some fresh herbs, and we're ready to go. Looks nice. So all oven temps vary for sure. So what you're looking for is you're looking for the tomatoes to be slightly wilted. It's so important to drain them like we did earlier. A little bit longer preferred. But what you're looking for is that sort of crust on the outside, a little bit of golden coloration. You don't want it too burnt. And so that's why a little bit longer at a lower temp, say again, 350, 375 works really, really well for about 30 minutes. So these are really nice. You can tell when they're done that when they actually hold, okay? So if they're not done, it's gonna be quite soggy in the middle, right? So that's why we drain the tomatoes. That's why, using a ricotta is quite nice because it dehydrates during the cooking process, whereas if you use a red sauce, that you're adding a ton of moisture to the phyllo and it'll take a little bit longer to cook. So these are just really, really beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and plate up one of these. That is nice. So before we do that, I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of arugula, a little fresh arugula. So I have a little bit of, use garlic oil or olive oil, either way. Super lightly seasoned, a little bit of lemon, just a touch, pinch of salt, a little bit of black pepper in there. This is just such a nice, light way to serve it. Love trying to get the greens whenever I can, so especially with kids. So let's cut this in half. All right, we're gonna serve those on a nice platter here. Just gonna add the arugula right on top there. And you can see that using those different colored heirlooms just give it such a pop of color. So beautiful. Really nice, fresh, seasonal dish here. Love making these with kids also. Again, mixing up the toppings, any kind of seasonal vegetables or mushrooms are really great. Also, I love the look of these tomatoes, so we're gonna go ahead and serve that. I have a little bit of fresh herbs here. I usually top them off with a little bit of sea salt, and then you're good to go. So there you have a phyllo pizza, also tomato ricotta tart, whatever you want to, whatever fits your fancy, whatever you want to call it. There you go. And be sure to check out, if you're in the UK, our Wicked Kitchen line of food. Go to your closest Tesco to pick up and grab a meal to go. Wait, let's do that over and over. Beep.
Go ahead.
And there you go, a phyllo tomato pizza, tomato ricotta tart, whatever the you want to call it. Be sure to go into your Tesco. If you're in the UK, grab some of the Wicked Kitchen line. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. Enjoy. Fits your fancy?
Whatever fits your
The
fancy.
f was that?
I don't know, this will definitely be in the oven. Whatever fits your fancy.
I'm trying to get all British here, so support whatever you like.